Well, considering their playoff history over the last several years. Andy Dalton and the Bengals have lost in the opening round of the playoffs the last 4 years. Now, assuming McCarron is able to play in the playoffs and Dalton's out with that broken thumb, is McCarron good enough to end the Bengals' disappointing ways in the playoffs? Will?
Yes, I think McCarron is definitely able to break that streak. And I know this is going to get me all kinds of "you're an idiot" tweets and analysis, but there was a moment in the first half last night when I was watching and I thought, is this not unlike another situation where a young quarterback stepped in and dethroned a very good quarterback? Andy Dalton's very good. Drew Bledsoe was very good. And he got hurt. Tom Brady stepped up and never let it go. And when I was watching A.J. McCarron in the first half last night, I was honestly blown away by how I never expected A.J. McCarron to step up and play like that, even with the previous game. Look, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm very aware of how bad backup quarterbacks can be. And to be honest, my expectations in bar aren't very high. You got to come in and complete a few passes farther than 5 yards down the field.
You're good.
But A.J. McCarron was throwing passes into tight windows. He was driving the Bengals down the field. He was making plays with his feet. He was converting on third downs. In short, he was doing things that starting quarterbacks, good starting quarterbacks, do in the NFL. I was incredibly impressed with A.J. McCarron. Now, it didn't hold up for the second half, and I don't necessarily put that on A.J. McCarron. Let's not forget, they were playing, what is it, the best?
Oh, the best, yeah.
The best, or top 2, 3 defense in the NFL.
That fumbled snap there at the end?
Look, plays happen in football. They do. And you're right, we should look at that and go, what happened there, A.J.? And he says, I looked away for a moment to see A.J. Green in motion, to see what the Broncos were doing to adjust to his motion. And it hit me and went through my hands at that moment. But as far as his quarterback play, outside of that one bad play, I think A.J. McCarron is incredibly capable of breaking that Bengal streak. In fact, I fully expect it. And if he keeps going, and the injury is going to help a lot, you got a legit quarterback controversy on your hand. And I like Andy Dalton, too.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm taking this back to the very beginning of the show.
Body of evidence on you?
No, seriously. If this was a Peyton Manning that he was playing in front of, just like we talked about Osweiler earlier, now with looking at McCarron, what would you do?
Don't you ever call me out for my inconsistency. Don't you ever do that to me.
Okay, all right.
But let's at least admit this.
I had to put it on the glass table, man. I had to put it on the glass.
Let's at least admit this. Andy Dalton, and I like Andy Dalton, is no
Peyton Manning. Yeah. Okay, all right. I'll leave it at that. Personally, I'm kind of with Will on this. I think he played well enough outside of the situation at the end of the game where I'm giving, Osweiler credit, for staying focused and executing at the end of the game where with the game on line, you can't take your eye off the ball. You can't afford those mental mistakes. I did like what I saw. And
not to upseat Andy Dalton.
Listen. It depends on who they play. Now, we don't know that yet. But with the situation that's going on in the AFC, you may get a team, if you play the wild card, if you play the first round, you may get a team that doesn't have a quarterback or the situation is shaky, that still gets through, that McCarron could actually survive well against. Keep in mind, I keep saying, yesterday was a playoff game. That, to me, and you start judging these quarterbacks and what they do in this situation. Last night, he showed me he can do well in a playoff situation, especially since he's able to know what mistake not to make. He got the mistake out the way. That mistake he made at the end of the game and how he kind of didn't play as well as he did in the first half, that's fine. But not losing focus, you won't have that again in the playoff game. So I like the chances.
If Andy Dalton is healthy, you're still going to take McCarron?
No, Andy Dalton healthy, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but to be clear,
I
had a moment of wondering that. Right. And to be fair, the question is, can he break their playoff drought? And the answer is clearly yes.
But it depends on who they play, though. It depends on who they play. I think he has a chance to.
I'm sure AJ loves what you said about Tom Brady because the one thing he does not lack is confidence. The kid is confident. There were times that he made some great throws, and yes, he does have A.J. Green on his side and Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones. He's got talent there, and when Eifert gets back, I don't think, though, that he's going to break this hex. Could he go into playoffs and change the Bengals' mojo because it's not Andy Dalton and it's him, and maybe the team thinks, okay, this kid has got something? Perhaps. I was really bummed when Andy Dalton got hurt because I wanted to see if Andy Dalton could finally get over the hump and win in the playoffs.
Right.
Me too.
I tend to think, though, as much as everybody wants to put this on Andy Dalton, and yes, he has not played well in the playoffs at times, I think it's bigger than the quarterback, and I just think McCarron, having not been there before, could it help him? Yes, but I just think in that moment that we saw at the end of the game where he was looking at the defense and the snap hit him in the hands, those are the type of mistakes you just cannot have in a playoff game, which we thought that game was kind of like a playoff game. It's going to be 10 times harder for him in the playoffs. I don't think he can break it.
Make 2 points to both of you. You point out, and very correctly, Scoop, look at who the competition is. The question is, can he end the Bengals playoff drought? That means he needs to, and it's about more than the quarterback, but quarterbacks carry a lot of weight in the playoffs. Outside of Tom Brady, it means he's got to beat maybe Alex Smith. He's got to be, help me out here. He's
Carson
got to be.
Palmer?
No, he's the NFC. Brian Hoyer Brandon Hoyer and/or Brandon Weeden, Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is not.
Well, maybe Big Ben gets.
This is not beating Carson Palmer. This is not beating Russell Wilson. This is not beating Aaron Rodgers. So I fully expect A.J. McCarron can beat those guys. And here's why. To the point you made, confidence carries a lot of weight. And I criticized Andy Dalton earlier this season for his lack of confidence in taking a joke from J.J. Watt.
Right.
Quick personal, I played water polo in college at Pepperdine. I know you guys want to picture me in a Speedo, so that's why I'm telling you that, right?
I did not want to get that image in my head.
My junior year, we had this guy walk on the team as a goalie. Walk on. Like, what is he doing here? He's here to take shots. And he was not just confident, cocky, and he walked out there, jumped in the pool, and blocked every shot that was thrown at him from guys who were All-Americans. That guy, Merrill Moses, has gone on to be the Olympic starting goalie in 3 straight Olympics. Now, A.J. McCarron has that confidence that's necessary to achieve that level. You have to be confident to win in the playoffs. He's got that element.
He might not know any better.
He did win 2 national championships when he was in Bama.
When do we, and you make a great point about this more than quarterback, when does this conversation transfer to Marvin Lewis?
Well, that's why I said it might be bigger than the quarterback.
When is it him?
Right.
Regardless of who the quarterback is, when is him? Because Marvin going through this reminds me of Tony Dungy when he was in Tampa Bay, where for some reason he could not, I think it was 3 seasons in a row he got him to the playoff, but they did not score a point. He had the greatest defense in the world, but no offense. And the minute John Gruden got there, boom.
Right.
You know, it was regardless of who the quarterback. So we're looking at the situation here where it's not just Andy Dalton is lost. It's Marvin Lewis not being able to coach his way out of the first round.
Oh, definitely. Because in years past, I mean, Andy Dalton is 0-4 in the playoffs. It wasn't just about him. It was about their defenses in the past as well. But still, I mean, can you imagine, though, Andy Dalton could be out with a broken thumb. A.J. McCarron, he's still going to have that MRI on his left wrist. What if he's not there? So then who do they have? I don't even know the guy that they have in the back row.
His last name's Winning, right?
I don't know if that bodes well for them.
We saw it last year with Ohio State. Not that it's college football, but they were on their 3rd string quarterback, and look what happened.
Yeah, this is the NFL.
I'm just saying, we've seen it.
I don't know if you can win in the National Football League and make it to the Super Bowl with your 3rd string QB. But hey, crazier things have happened.
That's all I'm saying. Crazy things happen.
All right, coming up, we'll play a little game of QB carousel. Will Kirk Cousins be saying this is in the same uniform next year?